And we are live on all the platforms now. Good morning. How's everybody doing? John Beach, what's up, brother? How are you? I see you over there on the talk. Good morning. Good morning. We still need to meet up, man. Been a long time. Cole, good morning. How are you? Everybody over there that's joining on TikTok, appreciate you guys jumping in, saying hello. Facebook Live's up. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Appreciate y'all. We got a lot to discuss this week. Pando Commando over on IG. Good morning. Pando Commando. That would be from the 10th Mountain Division, if I'm not mistaken. It's my buddy Ryan over there. Ryan, I believe that's you managing that, or maybe you got one of your employees doing it. Ryan, if that is you, good morning. How is everybody doing? How's everybody week going so far? Let me know if you guys are out there. Let me know if you're watching, where you're watching from. And don't be shy. Say hello. I'd love to see who's out there. A lot to cover this week. I'm back in the home office. It's Ryan this morning. All right, brother. Appreciate it. I'm back in the home office. I've been down in DC for the last couple of days, and it's been great down there. I'm going to cover a little bit about what I've done here in just a few minutes. John Beach down in Ocala, Florida. Nice. Weather must be I'm sure the weather is much nicer there than it is up here. So yeah, where we got here? Big homie barbecue sauce coming from North Carolina. Yeah. NC in the house representing. I love it. Big homie, thank you for jumping on. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm gonna check that stuff out. Big homie, where are you in North Carolina? What part of North Carolina? John says in Florida it's been cool. It's been in the 70s. You're not right, John. John B, one of the greatest horsemanship instructors and teachers in the world. Winston-Salem, big homies down in Winston-Salem. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Next time I'm down, big homie, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna hit you guys up. Love this. Love this. Keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Lot is going on this week. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get started. Oh, somebody's sent us roses. I'm not sure what that means. We're still new on the TikTok stuff, but all right. Big homie, love it. Thank you guys. All right, so this week, nationwide outages. We'll talk a little bit about that. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. That was down in CPAC, down in DC. Today is the last day. Big lineup with speakers and stuff down there today. I'll go over that. Government spending podcast. I'll talk a little bit about that. And then I got a special announcement. But let's go ahead and get started on these nationwide outages that happened this week. AT&T, and when you look up these nationwide outages here in the U.S., what happened? AT&T said hours-long outages to its U.S. cell phone networks happened on Thursday to be the result of a technical error, not a miscellaneous attack. Okay. I don't know if I believe that 100%. I don't know. I believe, and here's why: because it wasn't just AT&T; it was Verizon, it was T-Mobile, and it was a lot of the other. I call them AAA carriers. One of the smaller carriers that sometimes partner up with these larger networks. AT&T said the outage knocked out cell phone service for thousands of its users across the United States starting early Thursday before it had been restored. Verizon had reported a show of 65% of the users experiencing mobile issues, 22% had no signal at all, and 12% had 5G home internet problems. And this was on Thursday this week, so a few days ago. T-Mobile reported a show that 50% of the users had no signal. So I don't know if any of you out there are using T-Mobile or whatnot. If those of you that are watching this right now, how many of you had problems with your wireless service this week? T-Mobile, 50% of the users, no signal. 26% had 5G home internet problems, and 26% were experiencing home internet issues. So that was across the various different networks, the bigger networks that are out there. IG, Panda Commando, it went quiet for us. Yeah, so they now I looked this up, and there were several, and you know how the media is. You know, mainstream media, it's different no matter where you go, but several of the outlets were explaining the different cities. You know, Philadelphia, Chicago was one. Uh, there was I want to say, and don't quote me on the number, but I believe it was around 8 to 10 different like cities that had that this affected. Quite a few, quite an uproar. It didn't shake DC. Like I said, I was down in DC, uh, Thursday, Friday, and I didn't see any issues down there with Verizon or some of the people at T-Mobile. So interesting that when you look up most of the articles about the outage, a lot of them are just talking about AT&T. I'm not throwing that out there. I'm not trying to be like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. To me, it's odd for them to say that it was a technical error and not a miscellaneous attack. I'm not saying it was a miscellaneous attack. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that the focus was on AT&T, but Verizon and T-Mobile also had issues along with some of its smaller carriers. What does that mean? I think this is something that we need to be more prepared for. We've talked about this in the past that our grid is they could easily hack into. Case in point right here. You know, what would you do if you didn't have your cell phones? How many of you out there remember as a kid, the phone on the wall in your house, and you had to dial, and it was a rotary phone? Anybody remember that? There's probably some of you out there that remember not having a phone at all in your house. I can remember what it was. I remember what life was like before cell phones. I remember what life was like before cell phones and text messaging and the internet. All right. So, like I said, I was down at CPAC. I want to shift gears here a little bit. I was down at CPAC, which is the big conservative conference here, and it doesn't matter what side of the fence you sit on. I go to this to learn from a lot of different people, and this year didn't disappoint. The days I was down there, I go down there a lot to meet with like Gordon Chang and talk to Gordon and listen to him about the China policies and stuff like that. Big country, what's up? You know who I'm talking about, Jeremy Neville, my boy. Appreciate you, brother. So I was down there, and one of the people I wanted to meet up with was Tom Homan. He's the former ICE director. He worked under 6 presidents, and every it was interesting listening to Tom speak, because one of the things that he had said is that, and mind you, he's worked under 6 presidents when he was the ICE director. Every president has done something to secure our border. Biden is the first president to come into office and unsecure the border on purpose. There's been a 600% increase in trafficking women and children under the Biden administration. Don't take my word for it. This is stuff that you can look up online. You can go to CPAC and you can actually watch it. If you go to CPAC, you can watch some of these sessions under the general sessions that they're doing. 440,000 children 440,000 children under this administration. Uh, and 20,000 Chinese migrants just since October of 2023. Now, I know, and I can already see having issues with internet and stuff right now. So if you guys can see me and hear me, keep leaving comments. Let me know that you're hearing this. This was interesting. We've talked that we've had a border problem here in the U.S. and a lot of people. Usually, what happens? Let's face it. This is an election year here. So what happens is they focus it and they blame the last administration. The last administration didn't do X, Y, and Z, what have you. Listening to former ICE director Tom Homan talk to us about the border issue or crisis, let's be honest, we'll call it what it is, crisis. The fact that he's served under 6 presidents, I don't think there isn't anybody on the face of the earth that knows more about border crisis than this man here. And the fact that he gave kudos to every other president that it did something prior to doing something to secure the border. Every president has done something to secure the border in some form or facet, right? So those numbers are staggering. And he brought up the Trump administration, which a lot of people are get upset about Trump, whether you like him or dislike him. It is what it is. You look at the business side of it, and a lot of people were crying like, "Oh, they're not humanitarian. They're not. It's more of a humanitarian mission now." When do you draw the line? When you stop focusing on the women and children that are being trafficked? The biggest thing that I got from it wasn't just a border crisis that was happening. It was um, the human aspect of it, of women and children being trafficked. And it's not just for sex trafficking, it's for labor trafficking as well. Recently, and this was within the last 90 days, they had found several children undocumented children on a farm working in Ohio. So when do you start focusing on that? It's a I don't know. It's interesting. Again, don't take my word for it. Look this stuff up. You can go to CPAC, and whether you're a conservative or not, here's the thing that I'll say about CPAC. It's a conservative conference. Do I agree with everything? Maybe not. There's some stuff that I certainly do agree with, but there's a lot of people. There was a lot of more left leaning Democrats that were there as well, and had a great time speaking with them as well. And it was great conversations. You learn a lot from this. And what really kind of surprised me is that you see a lot more news outlets like Real American News with Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon was there, and the people from Real American News. Newsmax was there as well, but you didn't see. I remember years ago you would see the Blaze and Glenn Beck, and you would see some of these bigger organizations like Fox and whatnot. And maybe they'll be there today. Maybe they'll be down there today. Today, big lineup. Former President Donald Trump is going to be speaking later today down there. Carrie Lake from Arizona is going to be down there today, and they draw big crowds everywhere they go. So it'll be interesting to see what happens later today down there. But it was nice seeing what was going on with what Tom Holmes had to say. One of the other, I think, breakout sessions, what was interesting to me, I like going down there. I like meeting up with and listening to Gordon Chang. Um, if you're not sure who Gordon Chang is, look him up. He is an amazing individual. He talks a lot of policy about why we have to keep our eye on China. And I've been studying China and kind of things that have gone on for the last, I don't know, probably 8 to 9 years. And I remember several years ago when China started building the man-made islands in the South China Sea. I said, this is going to be an issue, isn't it? And they just started talking about it at that time. And what had happened was, now look at China. Those islands are military they got a military base there. So they got a functioning military base on those man-made islands from years and years ago. Um, and it was something else. I couldn't believe what was being said. But Gordon had the former director of intelligence and information operations for the U.S. Pacific Fleet, Captain James Fennell, and he said that the PRC is a threat. In the last 2.5 years, the Chinese have built 350 ICBM silos in Western China. 350 ICBM silos in Western China. When you buy things here in the US, when you go to whatever store you go to, I don't want to mention any of the big box stores. You go to some of these big box stores, or you go to, whether you're purchasing food or clothing items or whatnot, and it says made in China, that's what we're supporting. It's where that money goes. One of the other things that I found interesting about China this year, and I'm going to be putting an article about this that'll be going up on the Heroes Media Group website on Tuesday. You can find out all the articles and all the shows on the network. Simply go to heroesmediagroup.com. But China's shipbuilding capabilities, this is going to blow your mind. China's shipbuilding capabilities is 232 times greater than the U.S. 232 times greater than the U.S. They're pumping out ships left and right. Now, is that something that we should be worried about? Some of their ships aren't that great, but their technology and stuff is starting to get to a point where it supersedes what we have the capabilities of. Anyway, so I always I'm always fascinated by learning more about China, what's going on there, why we got to keep an eye on, and that's something that we as a nation need to keep an eye on. What else happened there? Energy policy, oil and natural gas here in the United States. Realize that we bring that back. It was great. When under former President Trump, barrel prices were down to a record low of $40-$45 a barrel. We learned how to harness all the natural gas and oil that we can produce here in the United States. I don't know. Maybe it's something we got to look at again. A lot of people from overseas coming to this too. The El Salvador's President Burkle, took stage to speak at CPAC yesterday, and rioters outside of the event were not happy about his presence. Was not happy about his presence, and they voiced their anger towards him. Said he cheated in their election or whatnot. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, so I thought I'd share it with you. Something that you guys can look up. Governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem, wonderful lady, wonderful lady. This lady's on top of things, and it's no wonder why people in South Dakota are happy. Amazing. What do we have here? Briggs is going to destroy the power dollar. Maybe that's. I think Jeremy Neville over at TikTok makes a good point. I think what would be nice is if we went back to the gold standard. My opinion. What else? Mark Levine. I love Mark. It's really what it's boiled down to. He said right now it's come down to good versus evil. And Mark had a gentleman on stage with them from Israel whose son was kidnapped by Hamas and has been missing since last October. No word of what's going on. And it's a shame. And the gentleman shared his experience of what was going on because he lives very close to the border there, and he was explaining what was going on when Hamas soldiers were coming in and terrorizing people, and it was getting it from firsthand experience was something else. But it was sad because one of the things that was stated was why isn't Israel doing something about it now? Why, or they're not doing something fast enough about it? So it was really interesting to hear somebody else's perspective that was there as well. What else happened? The CPAC is just one of those things is where I like meeting and getting out back into doing networking events and meeting people. Triangle Fragrance, veteran-owned business, um, it was there. I met Savannah Christie. She talked about her. If you're not familiar who Savannah is, her parents are serving a combined uh, sentence of 19 years in federal prison for something to do with taxes. I think I don't want to say I don't want to say invasion. It might have been invasion. I'm not sure, but she talked about the justice system and how it was handled, and it was interesting because one of the things that she said was the district attorney, and this was down in Georgia. This case was done down in Georgia. Um, they opened the case up by stating, and I quote, "These are the Trumps of the South." And it was just downhill from there. Now, the other thing that had happened is FBI came in, said that certain things were done and said, and it's like, oh, that was our mistake. There's going to be an appeal on this, and if you're not familiar, like I said, look up Savannah Christie. She talked about her family and really kind of what needs to be changed in our justice system and how things were handled. Interesting story. Um, Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile was there. If you're not familiar with Patriot Mobile, great organization. I love their cell phone, and we're going to be switching to that here hopefully soon. Um, just another great organization. So anyway, you learn a lot from CPAC. If whether you're on the left or right or down the middle, it's definitely an event I think you could benefit going to and learning from. If you're interested and you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about and you want to learn more, go to cpac.com or cpac.org and check it out. You can see a lot of their general sessions and stuff that are going on. They stream them live on the internet. So let's get into some of the topics from this week. And kind of speaking of, earlier with ICE Director Tom Homan, this topic here, residents alarmed as smugglers navigate open northern border. I think we've spent so much time focusing on the southern border that we forget there's a border to the north. Oh, Canada, right? So one of the residents from Vermont, which is located near the international border with Canada, or recounted an encounter with Border Patrol. Thank you. That Border Patrol actually told them to get a pistol and stick it in your backpack because 9 out of 10 people that are crossing are here to actually live a better life. I believe that. But there's that one person. There's the one that's got a rap sheet, and yeah, the number of foreign nationals entering the United States illegally over the northern border has surged by 240% in 2023 compared to 2022, totaling 12,200. That's what they say at the port, this was the Post revealed. About 70% of these crossings occurred in a 295-mile border stretch north of this town in Vermont. Very interesting stuff. But we all, we talk so much about the southern border, but there's stuff that's going on up north too as well. Moving on, Google to improve their AI after image generator removes white people. I can't make this up. When you ask, I guess, and I didn't try this with Google. I don't know if anybody out there has. I when you ask Google AI software or the generator to make a picture of a white family, the AI tool said it was, quote, unable to generate images that specify ethnicity or race, end quote. And then it says, quote, it's against my guidelines to create content that could be discriminatory or promote harmful stereotypes. It also included, instead, I can offer you images of families that celebrate diversity, featuring people of various ethnicities and backgrounds. So Google is jumped on to get this issued fixed rather quickly, apparently. So it was pretty interesting that happened. Next headline in the news. This one blew my mind. Federal government spent $8.5 million to create podcasts. I can assure you, folks, Heroes Media Group did not see a penny of it. Sad? No, I'm not sad. Let me read the rest of how they did this. The federal government spent $8.5 million of taxpayers' money to create podcasts promoting left-wing causes. And this is according to a report that was obtained by the New York Post. The spending was first discovered by taxpayer watchdog openthebooks.com. They revealed that over $8 million had been provided to create 58 podcasts between February 2020 and September of 23. More than $200,000 was provided for one episode of a podcast discussing relatively new gender-neutral pronouns, which challenged Swedish grammar norms. Isaiah 6:8. Ron, good morning, brother. Appreciate you. I can't believe this. Your taxpayers' money was going to promote left-wing cause podcasts, and they're talking, and they spent $200,000 on one episode to discuss relatively new gender-neutral pronoun, which challenged Swedish grammar norms. Another podcast targeted children with COVID-19 content. They had a podcast that targeted people. Now, again, a lot of these social platforms right now are silencing us. I need you guys to share this, comment, like, post it out. Facebook's got us pretty much all but shadow banned, and that's fine. Whatever. What else? Here's another one. There was a podcast that was funded by the State Department, seeks to address issues and stories affecting trans and intersex lives in Zimbabwe. American taxpayer dollars funded a podcast that was to talk about issues and stories affecting trans and intersex lives in Zimbabwe. Why? Somebody make this make sense to me, please. I don't know. That's where your taxpayers' money is going, folks. Again, don't take my word for it. And I got no problem. Let me be clear. I'm not homophobic. I'm not against the LGBTQ community. That's fine. Live the life that you want to live, and as long as you're happy. Be respectful to other people. That's the biggest thing. I'm going to tell you, be respectful to other people. I don't care that what you do behind closed doors. It's not my business. That's yours. That's between you and God. And if you don't believe in God, that's fine too. Doesn't matter. You have that right. Let's move on, though. We have our friends over at Label 22. They got their launch party coming up February 29th in Nashville, Tennessee. That's right, Label 22 party. If you're going to be out there, that's our buddy Stephen Cochran. And I believe the proceeds or this is actually put on by K9 for Heroes. Jason Johnson, great organization, nonprofit organization with dogs and stuff. Check it out. Nashville, Tennessee, February 29th. Listen, I need your help. I need your guys' help out there. We have a new coffee blend, and we're not sure what to name it. It's a decaf. It is a decaf. We've got a lot of people putting in like different names or whatnot. So here's what you can do. The winner, we need HMG Beverage, our sister company, has a new decaf, and that's we brought that on because there's so many of you were asking for a decaf. Well, now we need your help naming it. What do you want our decaf to be named? What should you name it? Email us. You can email me personally at adam@HMG Beverage, or follow us on Instagram, HMG Beverage, and leave us a comment of what you think our decaf should be called. If you get picked, if your name gets picked, and we're going till the end of this end of February, I'm going to pick them on March 5th, I believe. If your name gets picked, we're going to send you 2 pounds of coffee absolutely free as a winner. All right. So let me know what your name, I need a decaf name for a decaf coffee. All right. Big announcement here at HMG. We got a new show coming on board because we are growing. It's called Patriots Behind the Wire. Gold Star mother and Army veteran coming on board here mid-March. So stay tuned for that. We're excited to have this great show on board with us. So check them out. Patriots Behind the Wire. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's get into what you missed on the shows this week. And listen, again, I appreciate you guys jumping on that come on. Those of you that watch this later on, leave a comment. Please share this. We're getting shadow banned left and right, and I knew we would, especially today with the topics that we're covering today, because all these social media platforms want to silence what's going on. Now, here's the thing. Everything that I talk about, this is stuff that I've gone and looked at myself. Don't take my word for it. My word isn't final say. I'm just telling you what I found. Go out and look for it. Look and do your research. Everybody has these pocket computers, these cell phones and stuff. Look this stuff up. Let's have conversations on this. And let's create positivity. A lot of the stuff that I talked about was CPAC. A lot of you, CPAC is conservative. You're talking politics. I'm not talking politics. I'm talking about what's going on, what's really going on, and why we need to pay attention to what's going on. So, A, we can either fix the problem, or B, how can we work together to fix the problem, to live in unity and harmony? That's what I'm talking about. Let's make that clear. Don't twist my words. Let's make it clear. Heroes Media Group is about trying to create positivity and sharing stuff. Sometimes we have to talk about the crap that's going on in order for us to fix it so we can work together and create more of a positive outlook on life. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. Getting off the high horse. Let's get on to some of these shows and who talked about what this week. Every Man's Odyssey this week. Ben Reese was a special guest. Ben has always been a good friend of his, generally a good man. Part 1, they're going to cover their history together. Go check it out, Every Man's Odyssey. Next up, we got the Hero Academy this week. Mark Marbury is a remarkable individual who wears many hats. Not just a law enforcement officer, he's also a veteran, and he's also a coach, a mentor, and the founder of Take Point Leadership and Performance. In his law enforcement role, Mark is dedicated to upholding justice. In his military background, highlights the commitment to duty and leadership. Check this out. This is a really cool episode. And Mark, thank you for being a community hero. Next up, we got Beyond the Rut with our man Jerry. This week, Jerry brings on his special guest, Ray LaCara Jr. He champions the reveal of genuine connection, empowering individuals to embrace their true identity with one powerful question. That question is, who are you really? He's an educator, author, and certified coach. Ray is on a mission to help people identify what makes them who they truly want to be so they can live the life of authenticity. I love that. Great. Great episode this week. Check it out. Beyond the Rut. Next up, Label Free Podcast. Before I get into this Label Free Podcast, make sure you can check out all the shows again on the network. Simply go to heroesmediagroup.com, click on the podcast button. You can go down there, see a list of all the great shows that are on our network and part of the HMG family. This week, Label Free Podcast, Embracing Sobriety, How Quitting Alcohol Can Transform Your Life. This week's guest, Marcy Rossi, a certified alcohol-free coach, success coach, mindset coach, and NLP practitioner. Marcy shares her personal journey of realizing her relationship with alcohol was problematic and how she found a coaching program that transformed her perspective on living alcohol free. Check it out. That's this week's Label Free Podcast. Love it. I also love this HMG coffee. Next up, we got Other Side of the Firewall. This is for all you IT guys out there. And if you're not IT, you want to learn more about computers, this is the show that you should be listening and watching. They do a show every day, about 12 to 20 minutes long. Monday, they're talking government agency hacked using an ex-employee's credentials. Tuesday, how are China, Russia, and Iran weaponizing generative AI? Let me say that again so you guys can pay attention. How are China, Russia, and Iran weaponizing generative AI? Because it's being done. Another one of the topics this week, excuse me. Why did Washington County Board vote to pay $350,000 of $350,000 ransom? If a county board votes to pay a $350,000 ransom, it makes you kind of wonder what it is they're trying to hide. You could see these episodes, listen to these episodes. It's called The Other Side of the Firewall. Check it out. What do we got next? Next up, we got the Misfit Nation podcast. My man, Rich. This is a veteran-owned podcast. This is a great show. They do a couple shows each week. This week, Patrick Bleak, also known as P. Wilson, a motivational speaker and influencer who has inspired countless individuals in the realms of addiction recovery, fitness, and mindset. P. Wilson's journey is one of transformation, having battled addiction since the tender age of 12. Wow. He's overcome numerous obstacles, including multiple stints in different rehab facilities. However, P's life took a positive turn when he discovered solace in fitness and exercise. It was a great episode. I love this one. Check it out, Misfit Nation. Next up, we have, what do we have? Pushing Back Chaos. This week, the Valkyrie Leo, Women in Policing. This was a great episode this week. Mike and Melon welcome their special guest, Brenda. Brenda is a 5-year Virginia police veteran. She's a former immigrant of Argentina turned American citizen. She proudly serves her community in uniform, pushing back on crime and lawlessness. She discusses the challenging of operating as a female officer in a male-dominated line of work, what has helped her overcome those challenges and mindsets that have helped her succeed. Additionally, the team addresses morality and what's become normalized is not always acceptable. So this is a great, interesting episode this week. It's called Pushing Back Chaos. Check it out. Next up, we got Because Bikers Matter podcast. This week, two guests. He's got Ryan Evans from Counts Customs on the show, and he's got Jim Lynch from Bike Show Mafia. You got to check this out. This was a great episode, Because Bikers Matter. Next up, we got, MSEC podcast. This week, Major General U.S. Army retired Michael Harrison shares his personal experience and stories from attending an HBCU to an impressive 34 years of military service and beyond. His journey illustrates life of service and giving back to the community. This was an awesome episode. Check it out. MSEC podcast. What do we got? Joel, what's up, brother? Appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate it. Next up, we got the Arms Room Show. Love this show. Arms Room Show this week, they're discussing why you shouldn't buy more gear and focus on building your skills instead. If you're not tracking the Arms Room Show, you should be. They do, I love their show. They do a lot of training too, all over the country. So if you're interested in learning how to use a firearm correctly, or do like dirt medicine, stuff like that, go check them out. Training AZ, trainingaz.com is the company. You can reach out to the Arms Room Show and they'll send you a link of all the classes that they have coming up, training classes that they have. Highly encourage them to do it. They are based out of Arizona. So all my Arizona peeps, or those of you down in the Southwest that want some training, go check them out. All right, next up, we got Chasing Happiness this week. The Entrepreneur's Dilemma, Anxiety and Ambition. Ooh, if there wasn't such a truer statement. This week, Ryan reflects on his 50th birthday. Ryan, happy belated birthday, brother. We love you. He shares his deeply personal story that serves as a reminder of kind of how fragile life is and the importance of embracing and cherishing every moment. This was a great episode. I love it. Chasing Happiness. What do we have here over on the gram? Doc Buzz, brother, how are you? Appreciate you jumping on, man. We love you. Miss you. Hope everything's going well. Let's get together soon. Next up, we got the Joel Evans Show this week. Yuri Yukum, founder of Healthpreneur, helping health practitioners launch and scale a profitable business. Yuri teaches his practitioners the same system that got him to 7 figures in 7 weeks. If you're looking to build a mega business in 2024, you better listen up. It's the Joel Evans Show. Check it out. Last and certainly not least for this week, we got our good friends over at the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6 every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. You don't want to miss this. They get all the, like a round circle full of great musicians in the veteran community, first responder community. Check them out. Follow them, the People's Patriot Project. There you go. People's Patriot Project. Absolutely love them. Let me give some shout outs real quick. All right. I'm talking about My Tax Fella. It's tax season, right? You got to crunch the numbers. You got to get that in. I can't stand it. So we have somebody do it. My Tax Fella. Reach out to them, mytaxfella.com. They're the best in the biz. They've been doing our stuff, my stuff personally, and all my businesses for the latter part of a decade. Go to mytaxfella.com. Tell them HMG sent you. JB Auto Clothiers. I'm not wearing a suit today because I've been in it the last couple of days, but go to jbautoclothiers.com. They do custom suits. They do custom sport coats, custom shirts, custom ties now. It's a veteran owned and everything made right here in the good old US of A. Made in America. Check it out. Go to jbautoclothiers.com. Follow them on Instagram at jbautoclothiers. Please. Alibi Tattoo. We appreciate you. Get some ink done, or maybe you got some ink that you want removed. Go check them out. Alibi Tattoo up in Pelham, Pennsylvania. Forget Genetics for all of you outdoor enthusiasts, hunters. This is the product that you want in your woods before hunting season and maybe even during hunting season. Disclaimer, depending on what the rules are in that state. Go to forgetgenetics.com. Use promo code HMG. He's going to give you 10% off. Veteran-owned company. Check them out. Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. If you ride motorcycles, they need to be on your speed guide. Go check them out. Motorcyclesafetylawyers.com. They do a ton of stuff for the veteran and first responder community as well. Feed the people, buy the people. Thank you very much. Great organization. Check them out. Home Studios. The Freedom People. If you don't have a living trust or any type of trust at all, go to thefreedompeople.org. They can help you out. Sisu Stamina. This is the stuff that keeps me hyped and going through the days. I love this stuff. Veteran-owned company. Go to Universal Learning Approach, or go to ulauniverse.com and get this. It's a chewable, and there's 60 tablets in this. This is a great product. Check it out. And Jim Neary's Bait and Tackle and Warriors on the Water. Absolutely love both of these organizations. Thank you guys for what you do. And last is certainly not least, we got HMG Beverage, right? Check them out, HMG Beverage. Or you can go to hmgcoffee.com, get your coffee. And don't forget, we are doing a name that coffee, right? So send us an email, adam@hmgbeverage.com, or follow us on Instagram, HMG Beverage, and send us what you'd like to name the new decaf. Be a part of it. If you win, if I pick your name, I'm going to send you 2 1-pound bags of coffee, absolutely free. Whew, that's it. That's all the time I got, folks. I got all this stuff happening today. It's going to be crazy. I appreciate you guys. Listen, we're getting silenced a lot, shadow banned a lot on social. I need you guys to hit that share, like, leave a comment, whatever platform you guys are on watching this. Gary Brugman, another great American right there. Gary, I see you out there, brother. Appreciate you. Like, share, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about next week. We're going to be traveling. We'll be in Arizona first part of March 5th through the 12th. And then we're coming back. We're getting ready. We're gearing up for March Madness and spring training. So when I'm in Arizona, we're doing some March Madness stuff. We're doing some spring training with some of the teams down there. So stay tuned for that because Major League Baseball, it's there. And then we're coming back in April. We're going to be there for the Final Four this year. I'm making that announcement right now. HMG is going to be at the Final Four in Phoenix, Arizona. We just got our credentials. We're super excited to be going back to the Final Four this year. So if you're in and around the Phoenix area and you want to get together, I'm going to be down there all week during the week of the Final Fours and the finals. Let me know if you want to get together. I'd love to meet up with you, break bread, have some coffee, what have you. So that's it. That's all the time I got today, guys. Listen, remember, use your head. Get outside this weekend. God bless you. God bless America. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.